All right, so let's get right into Air. Tyler, I'm obviously going to start with you because I don't have anyone else to start with except myself, and I'm the host.
Yeah.
And you've seen like 68 movies this year, and this is currently your number one.
68
Yeah.
released this year.
Yes, correct.
Jesus, I've seen like 9.
Well, he did the Sundance.
Yeah, you got to
yeah,
give him. He had like
yeah,
50 there, right? Or how many?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like 30 right there. So that was like obviously
Yeah,
going to give me
that
ton of
helps.
momentum. Whereas I feel
Yeah,
like the last
yeah.
couple weeks I've been slacking a bit. Like I still haven't gotten around like Inside or A Good Person or some of these other releases. But yeah, I loved Air. It's number one, like A, because I absolutely loved it. Like I gave it a 9.2 out of 10, so I'll just start with that. But also I just like still haven't gotten, because I know George, I saw you tweet this like a couple of weeks ago or something too, being like, I still don't have any 5 stars this year. I'm like, yeah, I don't either, and I don't really have any like high 4.5 stars either. So still like waiting for the big
Yeah, like
bangers of the year.
9.2 is pretty high.
Right, I'm saying like prior
Oh,
to this
okay.
because this is like
Yeah,
the number
yeah.
one. But yeah, I just love the direction of this. I can't wait for Cam to see it because you have basketball knowledge and there's so many jokes that are so
Hey.
subtle that like, Seth, do you keep up with basketball, like modern basketball too? Because I know you watch some old OG basketball.
No,
Which I
I
guess
used to
would
watch.
help for this
I used to watch
movie.
NBA for like. NBA was like my sport for like 2 years. I know the basics now, but I'm not sure I keep up with it today.
Gotcha.
Old school, yeah. I don't know about today though.
Gotcha. Yeah,
LeBron James.
there's so many deep cuts of jokes here that people who like know ball are gonna really appreciate. But I think even without it, this movie is very familiar or similar to what like it's comparable to Moneyball in terms of you don't have to care about baseball, but you can watch Moneyball and be like, this is a genuinely like very good movie to watch. Like I'm entertained with. I think this is the same. I know George, you gave it a 3 or 3.5.
I give it 3.5. Yeah.
Yeah, for this movie, I just think it's so inoffensive that I really don't see any way like literally anyone could watch it and give it like less than like a 3 or 2.5. Like it's just such like a inoffensive movie that's just like very like for most people going to be just like right around that 3 out of 5. But for me, it's just elevated because I really did enjoy and appreciate all the deep cuts for basketball. I really thought Ben Affleck did a great job directing this, and the main reason I rate it so high is because even with movies like Banshees last year, Everything Everywhere All at Once, I still don't think I've seen a movie in like quite some time that has a cast with this much chemistry from every single character as Air did. Like obviously we know Matt Damon and Ben Affleck have such a deep history, but Jason Bateman, Chris Messina, Viola Davis, who am I missing? I don't know. Just like even the smallest of side characters, like this entire cast had just an insane amount of chemistry, and it was just so fun to watch them all work together. And yeah, it just all came together to be such a movie that's such a like pretty basic story. Like Ben Affleck's other movies, like The Town is like a crime mafia movie. We have what's the one? Argo, which is like a hostage crisis situation where they make a fake movie. Whereas Air's just like signing Michael Jordan to a sneaker deal. It's like his least like exciting narrative yet, but yet he turned it into a very good movie. So I don't know. I had a great time with it.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that Jason Bateman was in it.
Yeah, he was really good in it too.
Yeah, I like Jason Bateman a lot.
I think they all put on fantastic performances. But yeah, I'm right there with you. My 3.5 is not a bad 3.5 at all. I loved my time with this movie. I don't know about you. I had a great theater experience. Like my crowd was into it. They were dying of laughing. There was 2 women sitting next to me who were like, they had to have just been huge basketball or Michael Jordan fans because they were hysterically crying, hysterically laughing. They were like audibly like, oh, every time something happened. And I thought it was just like the funniest thing in the world. And then also I saw the movie with our good friend Sophie, and she said after the movie, she was like, I can't even imagine like how much fun they probably had watching this movie. And that just goes right back to what you said about like the chemistry. Like I just feel like everyone, like it's a simple narrative, exactly what you said. It's nothing crazy, it's nothing flashy. But it just looks like they all wanted to be there. It didn't look like anyone was there just to cash in a paycheck in a movie about Michael Jordan, even though it wasn't really about Michael Jordan. But yeah, I had a great time with it. Viola Davis, I think, is the greatest actress ever. She's so good. She is so good. Her performance in this movie. Wow. I don't know about ever. That might be a stretch, but I said I think she was held back in this movie. But like Viola Davis being held back is still giving a better performance than like a majority than most people. Yeah, like she was just so subtle and so intimidating. I loved watching her on screen. I think Ben Affleck direction. Tyler, you obviously tweeted yesterday that like Ben Affleck needs to be in the conversation of like one of the best working directors today, which is true because between Air, Argo, and The Town, he hasn't
Gone
missed.
Baby Gone.
Yeah, Gone Baby Gone. He just hasn't missed in the director's chair, and I just love it. But yeah, I enjoy this movie a lot, and I don't have like I'll never act like I have a lot of basketball knowledge. I think I watch basketball regularly, but I'm not one of those people that's like studying analytics, studying players, trade deadlines, stuff like that. But this movie did such a good job at not making Michael Jordan just like the focus of this film, which I love. You don't even see Michael Jordan's face, which I think is amazing. I think that was a really interesting, creative decision that I really enjoyed, because that's not what this movie is about. This movie is about Nike and how they try to sign Michael Jordan.
Yeah, I wanted to bring that up because like at first I thought that was like a little awkward part of the movie, because I was like, oh, that's weird, because he is like in the boardroom scenes, but you never see his face, you never hear him talk. But then I was like talking with some other people about it afterwards and looking it up, and they were kind of like that was their creative decision, because Michael Jordan's a larger than life person. Like any 18-year-old actor that had to play him wouldn't do justice to like because I mean at the end of the movie it's like Michael Jordan makes $400 million a year alone just from the shoes like he sells.
Yeah.
He's a larger than life figure. That's how the movie treated him. Like he's just faceless, nameless, but his presence is still there and like the greatest.
Yeah, I loved it, because I really thought going into the movie they were like going to cast someone as Michael Jordan and just do like, cheap, like, oh my God, it's Michael Jordan moments.
Right.
But I'm really happy they did. And I also think that just allowed them to focus more time on Matt Damon. His character was obviously, the central POV of the story. And he put on his entire boardroom monologue was awesome. He is so good. But yeah, overall, I went with a 3.5 out of 5. It's probably going to go up on a rewatch, and I really do want to rewatch it because I genuinely had a great time with this movie. Anything else you want to say, Tom?
Yeah, like one of my favorite things of the movie that I don't know. I thought Ben Affleck made so many creative decisions here that I loved, because at the end of the day, this is a biopic biography movie. So it's pretty standard when you watch a movie that's based on real life. You have the movie, and then what do you get right before the credits? You get all the slideshow of like the text saying like this is what happened next, this is what happened in real life. He made one decision where like halfway in the movie he had a title card like that, because basically like Ben Affleck I think was on the phone. He's like, what's the most we've ever done in sales for a shoe deal in 1 year? Like $3 million. Then like it just pops up on the screen with text is like Michael Jordan the first year sold like 300 million or something like that. And I was like, that's so cool. But the coolest thing of the whole movie for me was, which I thought was such an insanely impactful scene, was when he was talking to young Michael and like his family, and he's like basically explaining how his future is going to go. He's like, you're going to climb to the top of the mountain. People are going to try and tear you down. You're going to go through adversity. And it was showing like during that whole speech, like they were showing clips of like Michael Jordan's actual life, like of his father dying when he gets older, like of him going to the MLB, of him suffering injuries, of him suffering losses. I was like, damn, this is like crazy that he's like talking to like the young family, and it's like showing these real life clips of like what Michael Jordan's life actually becomes. I was like, I was impressed. I was like, Ben Affleck made a lot of creative decisions that were very different than a typical biography movie that I thought just elevated this. I thought he just took such a, it's a story about business. It's like a capitalism story about a guy signing a Nike shoe deal, and like he turned it into like a very, I don't think you could tell that story any better than he did, basically. So yeah, I had a good time with it. And Chris Messina as the agent was hilarious. Like very similar to like Babylon vibes of that producer, where he's just like screaming like, everyone, let's just get this shot and shut the fuck up. Like it was very similar to that. And he was so funny. Like he stole every scene he was in.
Yeah, no, but to your point of like them showing all these cuts in the middle of the movie, like everyone knows Michael Jordan's story. So it's like, I'm happy like Ben Affleck didn't like shy away from showing his story in the middle of the movie, because it's like, you're not hiding anything. Like we know, this is one of the greatest figures in sports history, maybe the greatest. Like everyone knows what happened. So like making these creative decisions, I just think enhance the viewing experience, because it's like, yeah, Matt Damon is saying one thing to young Michael Jordan, and then you're watching it unfold, and it's crazy, and I absolutely love that. Cam, I really am excited for you to watch this movie the more we talk about it.
Yeah, I was letting you guys have your review. I am very excited to see this, and like me not seeing it this week doesn't mean isn't because I'm not excited. I just didn't have the time. It's one of my more anticipated movies because I have both Argo and The Town as a 5 out of 5. I fucking love those movies. Tyler is the only knowledgeable man on this podcast because he also has Argo as a 5 out of 5. Movie's fucking incredible.
I have it a 4.5 out of 5.
Oh, I thought it was a 4. I thought it was
4. 3.5.
Yeah, Seth has it at 3.5. Yeah, that's silly. That's fine. God, I love those movies. But also, Cam Walsh lore here. Don't know if I've said this. I was born in Chicago. And my parents lived there for like 21 years, and I lived there for only like 7. But big Bulls family, big like Michael Jordan family. They were living there when he was at his height, and they said like nothing was better than going to a Bulls game when he was just the fucking GOAT. So I'm very excited for that reason. My parents like want to see it super bad. Obviously it's Easter weekend this weekend, so they don't really have time. I think they'll probably go next weekend, but very excited for it. Good. I'm sure it's good. I expect, maybe a 4.5. I might be as high as Tyler. I don't know, but I definitely don't see myself like from everything I've heard about it being like a 3.5, 2. Like I just think there's no way I'm that low on it, but so I am excited.
Yeah.
Is it a comedy then?
I heard it's hilarious.
It is.
Well,
I'd say it's like what I said in my drama or my review. I was like, it's basically like a drama mainly. It's like a business drama, similar to like, I don't know, like The Big Short, Social Network. But there's so much comedy in it. But also there's like quite a few thrilling scenes, like like similar to like Social Network, where you kind of hold your breath, like shit, this better work out or else they're fucked. But
I'm just
one thing,
cast is like
a lot of comedic actors
and stuff. Yeah. I didn't know because in the genres, Letterboxd we know that usually just lists so many. It's just got drama, and I've heard so many people say it's hilarious. So
I laughed out loud quite a bit. But one thing I want to talk to is like the budget was like 80 million, and everyone's like, how does it cost this much?
Yeah,
and that's like kind of a cool thing. Is this is the first movie? I think I saw a couple people talk about this, but it's the first movie under Ben Affleck and Matt Damon's new production company, Artist Equity, where basically everyone on the cast and crew is like getting paid way more than anywhere else in the industry is paying. Like everyone's getting their fair shake, and that's what their whole production company's plan is. So basically, they got 80 million from Amazon. Clearly, it's not a movie that costs that much to make, but really, it's just everyone from the assistant to the water boy to the coffee boy. Like they're all just getting paid more than any other production studio. So cool thing that Ben Affleck and Matt Damon are doing. There's no anime influence in this.
Sorry.
But yeah, I think I don't have anything else to say.
Yeah, neither do I. 3.5 for me, 4.5, and Tyler's number one.